In this short video, I'm going to show you how to use the strategic clock analytical tool. And today we're going to use it for a competitor analysis. To start with, let's look at the components of this tool. On one axis, we have perceived benefits or value, and another way to think about this is quality. On the other axis, we have price. On perceived benefits or value, you can plot firms from a high position down to a low position, and similarly with price, from a low price through to a high price. Going through each position, firms that offer low perceived benefits or value at a low price are considered no frills. A company that offers its products or services for medium perceived benefits or value and low price is considered to be in the low price zone. A company that can magically produce their products and services to achieve high perceived benefits and value but at a low price point are in the hybrid zone. Firms offering medium price but high perceived benefits or value are considered to be in the differentiation zone, so these firms are using a differentiation strategy. And finally, positioned up the top here is focused differentiation or niche. These are niche companies, and they offer their products or services for high perceived benefits or value and a high price. Down in this bottom corner, we have the suicide zone. So this is for firms that offer their goods or services with low perceived benefits or value, but at sometimes a very high price. And these sorts of organisations will usually fail. In fact, if you plot a firm and they sit in the suicide zone, you might be in charge of creating a strategy to lift them up into a niche area, over to differentiation, or down to a no-frill zone, for example. So let's apply this strategic clock to an industry, and today we're going to look at the airline industry. To start with, we're going to have a look at Tiger Air. So Tiger Air would have the no-frills position, offering low perceived benefits or value at a low price. So their airline tickets, their prices are particularly low. Jetstar offer their flights also at a fairly low price, but usually slightly better perceived benefits or value. And similarly, Virgin Blue also offer a fairly low price, but a little bit better quality once again. Qantas, on the other hand, usually charge more for their flights, but also offer better perceived benefits or value. So for example, on a Qantas flight, you might have your meal included, whereas with these other providers, you would need to buy a meal during the flight. Finally, Singapore Airlines would be positioned closer to the focused differentiation area. So they're offering much higher prices for their flight routes, but also offer much better perceived benefits or value. So to deduce price is usually quite simple. So for example, with the airline industry, we might compare each of these providers on the same route and see who charges the most, and whoever charges the most is positioned higher across the price axis. Perceived benefits or value can be a little bit more difficult to deduce. A good way to do this is to use a table. So here we have a comparison table, and across the top we have Company 1, Company 2 and Company 3, and down the side a number of criteria to check each company against. So using our airline example, Company 1 could be Tiger Air, Company 2 Jetstar and Company 3 Virgin. And the different criteria you would select. So for example, criteria 1 could be the food, whether they provide refreshments on the flight and how good they are. So a company that provides refreshments inclusive of their air ticket and the refreshments are quite good might score a 4. Down to someone who provides poor refreshments and you also have to pay for them, you might score a 1. And down here we have a rating scale. So 1 equals bad or low value and 5 equals great or high value. Criteria 2, for example, might be the number of stopovers. So if you're comparing a route from, let's say, Brisbane to Singapore, a company that stops over a lot to get there, you might rank or rate as a 2, whereas a company that hardly stops at all or offers really good routes, you might give the score of 4. On the final criteria, using this example here, you might think about the type of airport they land in. So some companies are going to land in more regional airports and others in more metro. So for example, Jetstar will often land at Avalon in Melbourne rather than Tullamarine. So you would go through, identify the different criteria, and then rate each company against the criteria that you've selected. By doing that, you'll be able to tally some results. So we can see here Company 1 got a total score of 21. Company 2 got a total score of 20, and Company 3 got a total score of 10. So we can use these scores on our strategic clock. So here we are back on the strategic clock. The company that scored 21 under perceived benefits and value, you might plot towards the top here. The one that scored 20, perhaps a little lower, and the one that scored 10, perhaps right down towards the bottom. Now, one mistake that students can make is to use price as a criteria, but remember that price is already included on this bottom axis. So don't include price as a criteria that you're ranking against under perceived benefits or value. So that's a strategic clock. It's useful to compare competitors across an industry and to identify different e-business and other business opportunities. Happy plotting.